So we are now in the post-stretch videos. We're looking at the left leg and the starting dorsiflexion. So we're in the starting phase of the single leg squat. And we have 62 degrees of ankle dorsiflexion because we subtract 180 minus 118. We're now looking at the ending phase of the single leg squat, still looking at ankle dorsiflexion. So we take 180 minus 95 and we get 85 degrees of ending range dorsiflexion, which is a difference of 23 degrees compared from starting to ending. So we're going to talk about the differences between pre and post at the end after we look at ankle dorsiflexion, knee flexion, and hip flexion. So we're now looking at knee flexion. We're in the starting phase of the single leg squat and we have 166. So we take 180 minus 166 and we get 14 degrees of starting knee flexion. We're now in the ending phase of the single leg squat on the left side. So we take 180 minus 75 and get 105 degrees of knee flexion in the ending range. That is a difference of 91 degrees between starting and ending. We're now looking at hip flexion. So we're in the starting phase of the single leg squat. So we take 180 minus 175 and get 5 degrees. We're now looking at the ending phase. So we take 180 minus 79 and we get 101 degrees of hip flexion. That is a difference of 96 degrees between starting and ending phases. So let's watch this through once. When we compare this squat to the pre-stretch phase, in ankle dorsiflexion, she has a total of 23 degrees of flexion compared to the pre-phase, which was 16 degrees. So we can see there is an increase there. When we look at knee flexion, there's a 91 degree knee flexion compared to 77 degrees of knee flexion in the pre-stretch phase. So we can also see an increase there. And last, looking at hip flexion, there's a 96 degree hip flexion compared to 63 degrees of hip flexion in the pre-stretch phase. So in all three joints, there was a pretty considerable increase in range of motion after stretching. So this would show that stretching helped her to be able to go lower into her squat and do a better overall squat.